There's no need to wait on your service member to share secondhand information anymore. Welcome to Holding Down the Fort, a podcast show where we put military spouses and children's needs front and center so that they can make informed decisions together as a family. Because let's face it, we know who's really holding down the fort. Let's get started. All right. Hi, everyone. Jen Amos here with Holding Down the Fort podcast show. And I am super excited. Every time I get to do another episode, it means that I get to interview another incredible person in our community. So let me go ahead and introduce to you Carolyn Crews. Carolyn has had a passion for healing and helping others from a very young age. Her mission with Reiki and holistic wellness is dedicated to empowering individuals in the achievement of optimal health, balance, and harmonious healing. Carolyn's primary focus is on pain management, stress relief, with the goal of returning her clients to their authentic self. She's a grateful mother of two, loves skiing, traveling, finding adventure in unexpected places, and the ultimate healing power of a good belly laugh with friends. Carolyn believes that the power lies within all of us to heal ourselves and live fuller lives physically, mentally, emotionally, and soulfully, aiming to create a healthier, happier world one person at a time. Carolyn Crews, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jen. I was so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's my absolute pleasure. Why don't we start with you sharing, how did you hear about the show? And more importantly, why did you choose to be on today?
Yeah, I first heard about the show from you reaching out to me off of Instagram. You saw one of my Instagram posts that I posted about my children's father deploying the military here, and he's currently deployed, and sent a little post about that, and you reached out to me and offered to have me on the show, and for that I'm so grateful. And because I am a mother, and I have we're living in this crazy world today, and all I want to do is be able to help serve others in ways that have helped me kind of get through the chaos and the craziness that life has brought.
Just as we were talking about prior to the call, this podcast show is really about walking the journey of this crazy life together. It's not about some
Exactly.
expert. It's not about some expert like standing in the corner and saying, "Hey, do this and that." It's more like, I'm going through this too, and this is what I've learned along the way, and I want to share it with you so we can continue to grow or heal or what have you together, and really just get through this crazy thing called life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're all on this journey together. And if we can help each other in whatever ways have helped us, then all the better.
Yes, I completely agree. Well, Carolyn, for people who are just getting to know you for the first time, why don't you share what, let's say, a typical day looks like for you? More importantly, what keeps you busy and most excited about life nowadays?
Oh man. Well, currently my life is a little bit busy. I actually work as a nurse anesthetist as well. So I do anesthesia, if anybody's never heard of a nurse anesthetist. I do that part-time, and then also have my holistic wellness and Reiki practice business. I am a mother of two middle schoolers, so I'm constantly shuffling the kids around to all their activities and things. And in the midst of all that, really prioritizing self-care, maintaining my own wellness and health and lifestyle that I want to have for myself, as well as I'm trying to also do the work and life stuff that is necessary at the same time. My day today was I feel like all of those things in one packet. I worked at the hospital all day today, and actually my son is homeschooling this year for the first time. So he was feeling a little stir crazy from being at home. So I brought him with me to the hospital today for the first time, which he loved, even though he hung out in the waiting room all day. And then just finished dropping the kids off at their Taekwondo practice for the evening, came home to do this. I have a Reiki client after our interview, so I get to do a Reiki session for her, and then go pick the kids up, do some self-care for myself, and hopefully go to bed early tonight because I'm a little short on sleep this week, and I'm starting to feel it today now that it's Friday. So got to get caught up.
Yeah, I agree. I was just, we were talking before recording about how I've been going to the gym every week or every day of this week. And it's only today when I'm really beginning to feel it. So I think we're going to power through this together, Carolyn, and, and have a good show regardless.
Absolutely.
Well, you're really just like how you mentioned prior to the show that this is one of the first podcast shows you're able to be on, which I feel super honored that I get to interview you on your first podcast show. But also, this is my first time speaking to someone who does Reiki. And so I was just curious if you can talk a little bit about it for people who don't know about it, and what are the benefits of Reiki?
Absolutely. Reiki is something that I really knew nothing about up until a couple of years ago. I was kind of like most people I tend to meet, like, what is that? And I don't even know how to pronounce it. But what it is it's a form of energy healing. And it's kind of under the umbrella of energy healing. So some people have heard of healing hands or healing touch, but Reiki originated in Japan and is a way to bring energetic balance to your body just through gentle light touch through the hands. And it can be either hands-on or hands-off. Similar to how acupuncture works, a lot more people are more familiar with acupuncture and how it clears blockages that are energetically in the body, restoring that balance, restoring that flow, that life force that is running through our bodies all the time. And it never made sense to me in the past because I've always been very scientific based and had a very scientific mindset. And I work in medicine, and there's not a lot of quote unquote research out there yet that is broadly accepted on Reiki. And it wasn't until I experienced a session myself that I witnessed such a tremendous change that I couldn't explain. It has completely changed my life since then. I immediately knew that this was something that I had to do. I wanted to just go get trained in order to be able to do this, because it's something that we can use on ourselves as well as providing it for others. And I really, really loved that, because I was like, people can become a massage therapist or whatever, but you can't give yourself a massage like a massage therapist does to you. But with Reiki, it's something that I could still get the benefits of Reiki like I did in my treatment. I can do that for myself and have it kind of in my self-care regimen. We really do a great job of trying to take care of our physical bodies and our physical health, our emotional health, mental health. However, we also have an energetic self too. And we are energetic beings. Actually, everything around us is energy. That's just basic physics. We are made up of energy. And an example I like to give is like a person could walk into the room that just this ball of light, kind of like you can kind of feel like you start feeling good just by being around them. Like they're smiling and they're happy and they're carefree, and you just like, they just bring this kind of positive energy to the space. And the opposite happens too. Like if you're around somebody who's just kind of that Debbie Downer, who's just really stressing and really negative, and it's just like, oh, I'm starting to feel your stress, we have this energetic field, and there's so much energy around us that we don't even recognize, I feel like, collectively yet. And so what Reiki does is it works on all levels. It works on the physical self, it works on emotions, it works on your mental health, and also spiritually too. And it's not a religious thing. That's not what I'm talking about spiritually. But yeah, and so after seeing the benefits for myself and now working with clients and seeing what it's done with them, I mean, every single day. I mean, I'm still kind of a skeptic in some ways. I'm still that like, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if they're enjoying this. I don't know what they're going to get out of this. I don't know. And then I will see the results, or they will see the results, or they'll have a profound experience, or I'll have, something going on with me physically, and I'll do Reiki on that spot for 10 minutes, and then my pain is gone for the rest of the day. Things like that.
Yeah.
It's example after example. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And the moment that this came into my life, I was like, why doesn't everybody know about this? Like, this is something that like people should just know about, and B, what if everybody had this ability to be able to have this for themselves anytime they want? I mean, that would cut down on pain medicine, even just like Tylenol and ibuprofen. It would bring down the use of antidepressants, anxiety pills, or going to alcohol, or there's so many different things that Reiki can help with that's more the root cause and not just treating the symptoms. But yeah, that's just a little bit of how Reiki came into my life. It was so unexpected, but once I experienced it myself, it's completely now changed my life. And now I'm so passionate about sharing it with others and educating others about it, and bringing not only healing to them, but now training them to be able to have it for themselves and have it so they can share it with others, whether it's their children, their pets. My kids love Reiki. They were huge skeptics too. They're like, Mom, my son was like, Mom, that's like voodoo. And I was like, okay, whatever you think, like, that's fine if you feel that. I'm like, just try a treatment. And we did one treatment with both of them, and they now ask for it all the time. Like, my daughter will even text me like, Mom, I need your Reiki today.
Aww.
So yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. And I think it's one of many ways to find healing. And sometimes you just don't know if it's good for you until you try it. So
no, that's why I offer all of my clients a free 1-hour session their very first time, whether it's an in-person session or a distance session, only because I just want to share this with others. I love, like you said at the beginning, helping and healing others, but I just want to share this. And if it were me, I wouldn't want to just pay however much for something that I don't even know what it is. So I love to just offer that first session for free, just so people can see for themselves and try it and just go from there. It could be something great. It could just be a really wonderfully relaxing hour. I mean, who couldn't use that? So.
I imagine for someone who's a massage therapist, it takes a lot of energy out of them, and it's physically draining to massage someone. But it sounds like with Reiki, it's a little different because it energizes both parties that are involved. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not using any of my energy during a session. I'm literally acting as a channel for the energy. So it's kind of like a piece of hollow bamboo, like the energy just kind of flows through it and out to my hands to the client or to the other person. So I'm not using any of my own energy. I'm actually receiving the Reiki as well during a session. So I actually feel amazing after giving sessions. I feel so much better. So everybody benefits.
Yeah.
There's no harm that can come from Reiki. It's all good.
Yeah. I like the example of if someone walks in the room and you feel like they kind of light up the room versus someone walking in and you kind of feel like there's this dark cloud in the room. I don't think there's a better way to explain that energy from other people, in that vibe. I think vibe is a good way to call it too. Exists. It's really there. You can't see it, you cannot touch it, but you can feel it. And I also like that you come from a scientific background, because for anyone that's a skeptic, talk to Carolyn about her scientific background, and she'll tell you firsthand that this is not a joke. So
absolutely. And there is a lot more scientific research coming out on Reiki, which I love. And I'm always up to date on the latest scientific studies that are being done too. And so I love how that's growing and evolving. And the same thing kind of happened with meditation. That's really what got me into starting to meditate. Was I saw an article that said Harvard study showed the benefits were blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I need all those things. And if
Mm-hmm.
Harvard says so, then maybe it will, it's probably good. So, so yes,
Yeah.
I need to see proof of things in order to buy into them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think nowadays that's what everyone needs too. And so that's why I like doing this show, because for people who were maybe initially skeptics of something or unaware of something, to have someone in our own community share firsthand how it's affected them and how, like in a positive way, and how they can share that makes it more likely for our listeners to be like, you know what, I think I will try that. I think I will look more into that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing to us about Reiki today. I learned more now than I ever had in my life. So thank you.
Oh, well, thanks for allowing me the opportunity to. This is my dream, honestly, is to share this with as many people as I can. And that's why I love the podcast, because what a greater audience to serve, and especially your audience that you are speaking to, and that I resonate to, because I am also
Mhm.
living in the military life as kind of holding down the fort while deployment is happening. So
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And what I like about podcasting is typically people can listen to podcast episodes on their own. They'll put on a headset. And so if they want to delve into a topic that they don't want other people to know that they're listening to yet, they can easily do that
nice.
privately. And so it's really cool to have the opportunity to speak directly in people's ears and hopefully inspire them to take action, or at least just become more aware of it's available for them today. So yeah, no, I'm very glad that you were able to explain more about Reiki and all the benefits of it, because it sounds like a really awesome thing that I have yet to try, but now I know more. So that
Well, I'm happy to offer you a distance session if you would like to try it. Then you can
oh
tell me what your experience is like. So
oh
yeah,
very
I'm offering
cool.
that to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. We will talk about that
Okay.
probably next month, because I have a lot of traveling and I might need it. So anyway, we will we will talk about that later offline.
Perfect.
Very cool, very cool. Well, anyway, speaking of which, the purpose of this show is to create awareness of education or resources that's available for the military community, particularly military spouses and families that they wouldn't otherwise get from service members or the military itself. And so I know, Carolyn, today you wanted to talk about how women can find balance in all areas of their life through holistic, natural, and healthy practices, self love and self care, mindset, and daily scheduling. So, my first question for this topic is, do you feel like finding balance in all areas of your life, especially for women, is a common, like, do you think there's available and accessible resources and education around that today?
There are a lot of resources and there is so much education out there. However, I feel that it's just still such a problem that women tend to, I don't even like calling it a problem, but it's something that women are still struggling with, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, especially those who are trying to balance work and life and travel, or children, maintaining the home. And also, it's like we just naturally tend to want to take care of everybody else and
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's our job and our role to take care of our significant other and be the best at work and be independent and be fully educated and do and be there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems there's a huge lack and a neglect in taking time and for ourselves. And I'm speaking with, whether it's hanging out with moms at the pool and talking to them or wherever, there was one incident this summer where I met another family while the kids were all swimming. I met this mom at the pool and we were talking about all this stuff. And I asked her, I was like, when was the last time that you took some time to relax?
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of like looked up for a minute and she was thinking about it. And she's like, I can't remember. It's like she honestly could not remember the last time she just took a moment. And this is something that I've struggled with for the past decade, at least. Kind of started since my family started. As long as I can remember, I've just been
Yeah.
go, 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 go. And it wasn't really until I hit kind of my own little personal rock bottom that I knew that a change needed to be made. And I was just completely burnt out. I'd completely burnt out. My body had taken a toll. I've dealt with all kinds of health issues over the years, but now looking back, most of them were stress related or due to my poor diet or nutrition or ways that I was trying to cope. So there was a need in my life for a change. But I also witnessed that for others. And so once I was able to find that balance for myself and now be in a place myself that I can handle the craziness that life is in a way where I'm really feeling my best. I'm feeling the best that I've felt in years. And like I said, I'm still very much on the journey. I'm still going through it. We're on this all together, but I really want to help other women find that balance in their lives.
Yeah, I love it. I think that a lot of us tend to underestimate how damaging stress is to our bodies, like our mind and our physical health. I think years ago when I became a business owner for the first time, I was anxious and stressed and I didn't sleep like quite often. And I remember I had eczema breakout. So I have an autoimmune disorder. My skin breaks out. And even if I sweat or anything, like it'll irritate it and spread like even more. And it got to a point where my entire hand was, my right hand, which is my dominant hand, was covered in eczema that I couldn't even like shake hands with people anymore, where I had to I had to take a step back and really evaluate my life at that time. And one of the first things that I decided to really drop is like overstressing myself. Like I started to cut out little things here that, like at the time I didn't realize how much of a people pleaser I was, like how much I wanted to be there for people and support people. Even if it didn't get me any clients at the time, I thought, oh, karma always comes back. So if I put good out in the world, I'll get good back. But I think my approach at the time wasn't really like the best use of my time to like really get anything out of it. But I remember that once I just started to cut out a lot of things and reduce stress and allow myself to meditate in the morning, I remember I started again to habit where I'd spend hours first thing in the morning just meditating before I really started my day. My skin really started to clear up. And today I feel very happy. Like I'm very grateful that I haven't had a major breakout like that in years. And I realized a lot of it had to do with stress. And so I think early on, we think that stress, because it doesn't show right away, or we think it doesn't show, like we think that we can put up with it to get to like our end goal or whatever we want to accomplish in the short term. But in the long run, your body really suffers from it. So, and it's a very common thing that I do also agree that a lot of women tend to struggle with, because we are, I think society almost pressures us to try to be it all, where with, I think generalizing, I'm totally generalizing, but what I find with most men is they're kind of allowed to be single task type people. They're allowed to focus on like one thing, like just make the income, do your job. But for women, we wear so many hats. And so, yeah, naturally it's hard to find that balance, and therefore stress is involved. And it's really a toxic thing to have in our lives. And we need to understand that. So.
Yes, exactly. A couple of years ago, I started getting really sick all of a sudden. I started having a lot of GI issues that kind of came out of nowhere, but I also ended up losing 20 pounds unintentionally.
Wow.
Over about 6 months or so. And so both of these things were going on at the same time. And I literally thought I maybe had cancer. I was like, nothing has changed. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know why I'm losing all this weight. I'm not trying to. I have all these stomach symptoms. And I kind of wish you could just like go to CVS and get like a CT scan and just make sure there's not like a tumor somewhere. But that was the time that I found Ayurveda, which if nobody's heard about, if you haven't heard about Ayurveda, which I wasn't familiar with it, it is the sister science to yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And traditionally, out about 5,000 years ago in India was when it originated. And actually back then, yoga was more the spiritual practice, and Ayurveda coincided with it as the kind of healthcare, like not the healthcare system, but the way that people maintained their overall health and wellness. And that's through diet, through lifestyle, through practices in their lifestyle, through daily schedules and all kinds of different things, whether it's what you put in your body, how you are scheduling your day, different self-care practices that restores balance in the body.
All right, now we're going to take a quick break to introduce one of our sponsors. Let's get real. The government, our education system, the financial industry, and corporations are focused on the masses. They don't have your best interest in mind. You need to take responsibility of your future and stop following orders when it comes to your personal finances. The first step is to stop focusing on money and focus on your true purpose. Wealth is achieved by those who are following their passions. It's a mindset shift from scarcity to abundance. There's no better time in human history to use the liberty you fought for to live a life of meaning. U.S. Vet Wealth was founded by a West Point graduate who became disillusioned by the government benefits and traditional financial planning advice that is decades behind the times. Our clients recognize us as the only trusted financial resource able to educate them on the full spectrum of opportunities available to veterans today. By thinking beyond the standard financial advice of buying a home, sending kids to college, and retiring, we help the 1% who serve our country become the 1% who influence it. See if you qualify for a wealth and liberty strategy today. Simply visit usvetwealth.com. That's US as in the United States, vet, short for veteran, wealth.com, usvetwealth.com.
And once I learned about it, I was like, wow, this makes sense to me. And I've done every fad diet and fad whatever that's gone around. I was married to a personal trainer for 10 years. So we've done
oh
all
boy.
Yeah. We've done all the healthcare things and all the health and fitness things. But there's so much confusion I felt about which one was best. Keto best, is gluten-free, is plant-based, vegan. You know, there's so many different, every little group says like, mine's the best.
Yeah.
And it gets confusing. And Ayurveda kind of encompassed all of that, but in a way that's individualized and personal, and not every person has the same body types, and not every person requires the same thing. What works well for me might not be the best thing for your body. And our bodies are going in and out of balance in different ways all the time, whether it's seasonally, whether it's whatever periods you're at in your life. It's always changing and evolving, just like nature is always changing and evolving. And so I tried it. I learned more about it, and I tried it for myself. And within just making some simple dietary changes based on my personal imbalances that I discovered, within 2 weeks, all of my GI symptoms had completely stopped.
Wow.
I had my vitality came back. My energy level did. I wasn't feeling sick anymore, and I stopped losing the weight. And I was literally within 2 weeks. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. So yeah. And then from there, incorporating meditation, like you said, meditation has become, it's a daily practice for me, but I've realized that we're living in our lives are like a dimmer switch is a great analogy that I heard once, where our culture and our society right now is on the stress overload, and that's not new. Like, everybody is always talking about, like, our cortisol levels are too high, and we're always in this fight or flight. it's like our dimmer switch is set to high, and we're constantly living in this state where that light is on bright all the time, and we're just go, 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 go. We're stressed, and what meditation does, just a regular meditation practice, even just 5 minutes a day even, will kind of dim that dimmer switch to a level that's lower, and that's where you begin living. And instead of living on this high bright all the time, it dims it. Then as stressful things come up, you don't respond in the same way. You don't, internally and externally, your hormones don't respond the same way. Your endocrine system doesn't respond the same way, but also you feel better. You feel more at peace all day instead of just in those 5 minutes. So meditation has become a vital, vital part of my life in many ways. And these are practices that I love to share and teach with others, and to other women, and to my clients, between just these simple lifestyle changes in terms of diet, daily practices, self-care, scheduling time for yourself, like literally putting it in your calendar. Like this is like if you have an appointment, like if you've paid for an appointment and you are supposed to be there, like you show up. We need to do that for ourselves. We need to make that appointment with ourselves every day at some level, in some way, whether it's picking, going to the gym or doing something that we enjoy. It doesn't have to be that. It can also be just making a list of things that really, truly make you happy, really bring you joy. And have that list of maybe 10 things that like you can sit down and just like daydream for a minute and just think of 10 things that just really light you up in some way. Make a list and write that down. And every single day, just try to hit like one of those things on the list, just one of them. And it could even be just like enjoying our nutritious, delicious meal. I just love eating really yummy food, It's healthy and it's nourishing. Or it could be like you said at the beginning, like laughing really hard with my kids or my friends. Like make time to find something that's going to bring that light into your life and into your day. Because we do. I mean, we just need to schedule that time sometimes.
Yeah, I like how you mentioned to make a list of 10 things that really uplift your day. And then if you can accomplish just one of those, then you've like conquered the day. I think it kind of goes back to like how a lot of us are overstressed and we think that we have to do it all. But for you, you're just asking for one thing. And I think that's a really great way to get started in getting balance back in your life, especially if you're listening to this and you feel like you're kind of out of balance right now.
Yeah. And it could even be like music. Like I love listening to these couple songs. Let me just blare music for a half an hour and dance like nobody is watching and just have a lot of freaking fun by myself dancing like an idiot in my bedroom.
There you go.
Songs to some of my favorite music. Like that half an hour of whatever it is can completely shift things for you. So yeah, it's so important. So important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Carolyn, I feel like we provided so much tips already on how women can find balance in all areas of their life. Do you have any more tips or resources for us that maybe need more?
I do want to say that I do have an upcoming retreat that I'm running for women at the end of October for this purpose, to help them bring balance in their lives. It's going to be an incredible weekend of kind of learning some of these things that I've been talking about today, and practicing them and experiencing them and enjoying each other and some time away in a beautiful place in the mountains. However, really find importance in maintaining what you get out of that retreat after you leave. Because we can go to these events, we can go to see someone speak or listen to a podcast or whatever, and we're like, oh, this was great, I loved this. And then you go back home and life just kind of keeps going and it's the same. I really want these experiences to be something that will continue on after these retreats. So community is so important to me, and it's so important, I think, in all of this, because we all need each other. We all need that community, and it's something we've kind of lost touch of a little bit. We're kind of really isolated in our worlds now.
Yeah.
And so having that community continue that's loving and supportive, and we can continue to encourage each other and have that support after you go back home, so that this is something that really can start changing your life for the better. So I have that coming up.
I like how the most important thing you mentioned after the retreat is maintaining the community. If you're going to look to change and sustain a change or a good habit once you have attained it and worked hard for it, like the only way you can do that is in community of people who are doing that with you. They say that you are the sum of the people or the 5 people you surround yourself with, but you also are the sum of community you surround yourself with. So even after a retreat, even if you may not physically be with the people anymore, you can still maintain like a virtual community to keep that going and to connect with people who are going through the same thing. Like I know for me, for someone that's new on the East Coast and I haven't really made any local friends yet, I don't really feel lonely because I've established a virtual community of people who are in a similar situation as me. And so it doesn't make me feel like I'm alone, and I can kind of maintain a social life and prevent these feelings of loneliness in that way. And so I just wanted to add that because at the end of the day, the only way you can sustain anything is community. It's like for example, I'm doing this 6-week challenge with the gym, and there's a lot of people who've gone through it, but and people have gone through diets, but if they don't maintain it afterward, if they don't be in community with people who maintain it, then of course you're naturally going to go back to like your old habits and your way of eating and stuff like that. So just something to keep in mind. Yeah. And I wanted to add that about your retreat. Yeah.
Thank you so much for adding that. And I think we're so fortunate to live in the world that we do today with the internet and all the connections that we can make with people all over the world so easily at our fingertips. And I really love what you said about that, because it's so true. And even 10 years ago, I couldn't imagine having these communities with people who are all over the world. And like with you, like I never would have met you, not have been, whether it's social media or any kind of other online platforms. It's an incredible gift that we are able to have in today's world. And I think that we should take advantage of that for the greatest good. And so I have created my holistic wellness business. It's called Holistic Crews. And not just because Crews is my last name, but Crews as in we are a crew, we are a community. We are here in wanting to have the same thing and be able to connect with people who are like-minded. And so, I am in the process of creating these platforms that we as a holistic crews can come together and have that community support, people who know what we're going through, who can support us in doing that, and make friendships and have connections. And we're not in this alone. We're not in this alone.
Absolutely. Well, Carolyn, I think we had such an incredible conversation learning about Reiki and learning about your story and where you're at in life right now. And we've really appreciated the knowledge and tips on how to find balance in all areas of your life. For people that are interested in learning more about you or connecting with you and learning more about your retreat, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I'm most active at the moment on Instagram. So you can find me and follow me on Instagram. It's Carolyn Crews. And my website is holisticcrews.com. And you can find all the information about a little bit more about me and my upcoming retreat and Reiki on that website. And then there's going to be a Facebook group starting on about the Holistic Crews Facebook group starting. for exactly what I was just talking about, not just people who's going through the retreat, but just as a community for absolutely anybody who wants to be a part of this and wants to start having this more in their life. So, and then there's going to be some more things coming up in the future, but those are my main things. And if you want to get a hold of me personally and reach out, I would love to talk to you anytime. If you have any questions, if you have any, want any support with anything, or just want to connect in any way, just shoot me an email and I will get back to you. I would love to hear from you. I love people and talking with people. And so, and I'm here for you. I'm totally here for you all. And so, just reach out. My email is carolyn@holisticcrews.com. Yeah, I'm super excited to hear from you. So don't hesitate to reach out, or just say hey.
Just say hey. Yeah, just email, say hey.
Just say hey. Just say hey.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, Carolyn Crews, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. And for our listeners, if you did not catch that the first time on how to get a hold of Carolyn, don't worry, we'll have all that in the show notes because I'm super generous that way. And with that said, we thank you so much for listening. And Carolyn, I want to thank you again for being on our show. And I look forward to connecting with you all in the next episode. Take care now.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.